Well, good morning, Tom. It's the 1st of July, start of a new month for us all, and I'm just doing a garden update. Now everything's started to move and flower up and whatever, but I'm just round the front at the moment, and this is just outside our front door, and I tend to leave all this as it is. It's even grown across the path, it's not interfering with anything, and the bees love it, and it's just a variegated bush. Don't ask me what it's called, I haven't a clue. And this one's the same here. It's all intermingled with cotoneaster, and there's this lovely what I thought was a red currant bush, but it isn't. But I normally prune this back at the back end of the year, but this year I'm going to leave it because there is one further down the road and it's magnificent, it's massive, and it's looked beautiful this year. So I'm going to leave ours alone and let it grow, and I'll obviously do a video on it next year when it comes out in flower. Got a holly tree here, got plenty of holly. This is a tree I chopped down actually 2 or 3 Christmases ago to supply a garden centre with some holly for making wreaths, and it's growing back again. So this is just the front. As I say, I just tend to leave this to please itself. I don't get a lot of weeds because of the coverage. It just blankets the ground, as you can see, so weeds don't stand much of a chance. The old Rolls-Royce rear back springs with the rope light on it, and I've just planted this out this year with some pansies and some little bits and bobs that I got from the garden centre. I just can't remember the name of plants. I kept all the labels for the plants I bought in May, and I've misplaced them. I can't find them. I don't tend to keep them in the pots because the wind blows them away and they go all over the garden. But I made this this year, this wooden peg that this blue bowl is sat on is the middle part of Megan's old swing, which is round the back. I'll get to that later on, but I'll explain the reason for that when I get there. But this used to be part of a water feature that my sister had, and it broke down, so I've converted it into a planter. So a couple of other plants here. This one, I don't know why it is, but I can't keep heather plants. This one is dying by the look of it. I brought it round here out of the sun. I know they like an acid soil, but I'll have to try and find something to put in the soil to make it more acid, I suppose. But my next door neighbour, Debbie and Nigel, have got some round their front and they look fantastic. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but this one doesn't seem to be doing too bad. This one seems to be surviving okay. So just across here on the drive, of course, this is where we planted the red robins and these green shrubbery type plants, and they're coming on lovely now because they were pot bound, and but they're really reddening up on the leaves, so they're coming on absolutely superb. 2 or 3 years time they'll be lovely. It'll be lovely down here, better than those fuchsias that were just so straggly and were a nuisance more than they were attractive, if you see what I mean. but they're coming on really nice now. And of course we've got the hydrangeas, which are just starting to come out. This one has always produced bluish flowers. I think it's iron that makes them go blue. They say if you put a load of rusty nails near the roots, it turns them blue. You can buy stuff from a garden centre to turn them blue, but I never have done. They've just gone this colour naturally. So they're starting to come out. There's plenty more still to come out. And these ones round here are the pink ones. They're looking nice now. All starting to come out in abundance. There's plenty more still, as I say, to come out. So we've really tidied this bit up on the drive. It was such a straggly mess with those fuchsias and what have you, and it just needed tidying up. So I think we did the best thing really. And this one here is another hydrangea. Again, I've forgotten the variety. The label's gone. This is still to come out. As you can see, it hasn't flowered up yet. It's budded up, but it's obviously not in full flower. So that's the front bit of the garden. And then across here, in front of the garage, this is where I keep my oysters. Now, I've mentioned this before, Tom, I think, that the best way to grow oysters is in pots. This one's got a little bit nibbled with a slug or two, I should think. But of course it's right next to this little bush here that's actually, I didn't plant this, it's just self-sown, but I just keep it trimmed up, and it's tucked into this corner of the fence and garage quite nicely, and I think that's where the slugs have come from. But they're just beginning to flower up. They really could do with splitting this back end. Whether I'll get a chance to do it or not is a different question. But we have 4 of these tubs. We have one at this side, which is coming on, and as you can see, there's no nibbly bits in the leaves because it's just against the wall. There's no other plants near it. Just above it, I have one of my baskets, my wall baskets, that we've planted up with some pansies and various other plants. I mean, when I go shopping for this stuff, I just go and pick anything up, you know, that's ideal for baskets or planters in general. I'm not a gardener at all. It's potluck with me every time. And this is the other one. We have 2 on the front of the garage. This is the other one. Still plenty to come out on this. But filling up quite nicely. I fed them yesterday. Give them a bit of that Webster's Boost, they call it, a plant food. And I did the fuchsias. This is the 3rd one, the 3rd pot, next to me workmate and the brown wheelie bin, which is there. So yeah, I reckon another week or so I'll see these well out in flower. That one's starting there. Yeah. And then to the left of the gate we have the rest of my pots, which I like to put together like this, all together, because I think it makes a nice sort of cluster. So we have some more pansies there, and there's some petunias I think kicking around down there. I think there's the arum lily, which is now finished flowering. I've hopefully got some seeds from the other one further up the end of the garden. Again, I've never ever tried growing them from seed. Whether it'll work or not remains to be seen, but anyway, so the geraniums are still to come out, but looking nice and strong. And again, I don't know what these are. I wish I could find the labels. I should make a note of all these names. But I'm quite pleased with all this, really, because I bought these very early from the garden centre, if you remember, and I kept them in my potting shed because it was cold at the time. But I've always found in the past that if I leave it too late, the best have been picked over. So anyway, I planted all this lot out. I think it was towards the end of May, maybe the middle of May, because the weather had got a bit warmer. And I've been lucky, really. It's paid off. The weather behaved itself as regards temperature-wise. I know we've had a lot of rain and wind, but they've stood that all right. And so they are looking so bad. And then these fellows up here in these little boxes, I just put three in a planter this year. I've got two of these on the little fence. So, oops, I've got a bit out of focus there. So we'll go through the gate and this is the first hanging basket that I did. There's plenty more to come out. So I'm just going to take a break now, and I'll get back to you for another look round at the back garden. Right, Tom, well, I'm back again, and I've just dipped down to the bottom of the back garden. I've cut the grass this morning because we are expecting rain about 4 o'clock, maybe tea time, and it's going to be a bit rainy overnight, and rather an unsettled week. I'm getting a little wee bit colder, I think, by the weekend, so they said this morning. So I thought, right, well, I'll do the grass while it's nice and dry. So I've just come down here just to show you our copper beech tree, which is looking gorgeous now. It's a really, really nice dark leaf, and it really does look well. And then the little, well, say the little, it's quite a big shrubbery round the caravan. All this needs cutting back. There's a little lilac tree now that's finished flowering, but the shrubbery round the caravan needs cutting back. But I'm leaving it until, I would imagine, at least another month or so, because we have blackbirds nesting in there. The blackbirds have been out this morning getting beaks full of food. It's been a joy to see them. I've took a little bit out the other week just round here for this little fella that I've had a long time. I rescued him from a garden centre. They were going to put him in a stone crusher. It was part of a water feature, and for whatever reason they were going to crush it up, and I managed to cadge it off them. And then what I've done, I've got this concrete post which was knocking around on the front garden, just laid on the path. So I've concreted that in, and we've got this little solar powered lantern, and at night time it lights up and shines on the little fella. We always called him Boy Blue, but he wasn't blue at all. He was white. So I've painted him this grey colour. So I've just taken this little bit out. I knew there was no nests in this part, so I safely chopped that out. So that's the potting shed, and this is what I've always termed as the wild garden, or a wild part of the garden. Again, there's holly tree, and I was just going to pan round to catch that blackbird with his beak full of, it was a female actually, beak full of food, but she's flown off. So yeah, I'm busy pulling a lot of stuff out of here. It was getting a bit untidy, but I've knocked off for the time being because the poppies have started coming out. Yours are full out, mine are just starting, and so I'm going to wait while these are finished, and then I'll carry on tidying this lot up. And then my idea is to put some fresh topsoil on top. I'll get 3 or 4 bags of topsoil from the garden centre and freshen it up. Got a nice, this is a nice fuchsia, dark red flower when it comes out. So I've cleared a lot of debris out of there, and it's come on a lot better. It's a job that has been needed doing. It's, you know, it's you can't do everything, can you? But I've got a lot of stuff out. There's a few nettles in that corner, but the clematis, that just keeps growing and growing and growing. It hasn't lasted long this year. When it was out, it looked lovely, but the wind just took the flowers off. It doesn't flower for long, even in good weather. Once it's out, within about 4 or 5 weeks, it's starting to drop. But anyway, oh, there's the blackbird, just there. He's looking for bits of nut on the bottom of the feeder. This is what I was explaining earlier on, Megan's old swing, where I've got the middle bit. That's the middle bit I took out, and that's the stand for that blue pot you saw earlier. So what I did with this is put a couple of hanging baskets up at each end, and then some little wall mounted baskets which are at each end of the swing here. So it's all coming out. There's plenty more still to come out. some real I just wish I could remember the names. Anne keeps telling me off. Keep the labels safe. But yeah, and this is another blue bowl, what I call my nymph bowl, because it's supported by 3 nymphs. I've put this grill round the bowl because what happens is the pigeons come and they fly onto the nut feeder and they flap the wings like mad because they're losing the balance, and they get a bit tired and fed up, and this is the nearest thing they fly to. And what they were doing, they were flying on top of my plants, so I just put this round for the time being so they recovered. These were actually flat, but they've had a chance to recover now, so I'll eventually take it off. So that's the reason that's on. And then of course I've got some boxes up here with the some more pansies, geraniums, and some I think they're petunias. Somebody will put me right, no doubt. So those are coming on. Give them plenty to drink and plenty of food. That's what I've been doing. Don't overfeed them, of course, but and then round the back of the gate we have some more pansies here, and they're in a pot which is stood in an old chimney pot. So it's getting a bit windy now actually, and it's clouding up, but it's not cold. So some more pansies down there. And these are some wild flowers. Again, I've no idea what they are. There were some seeds that were kicking about in the potting shed. In fact, the packet had split open, so I just put them in these 2 troughs, and they've produced these plants. I've got some poppies growing in this one. These are some of the seeds that I sent you, Tom. So I've got them coming on, and yeah, I've seen this first hanging basket. Now these plants here I got from a shop called Yorkshire Trading, and they're real bonny. I've repotted them into these glaze pots, and the only name that I can remember on the label was Pink Kisses. So these are pink kissing plants, but they are quite bonny. And then we have the second basket up here. Oops. And then there's the third one just across here. So plenty to come out. Yeah, plenty more. And then I've got my potatoes here. The leaves are just dying off. I don't know what they'll be like, these ones, because I put them in rather a hurry, but you never know, do you? Might be surprised. So that's a poppy I've just got in a bucket that broke off when I was busy digging stuff out of there, so that's why I've knocked off really, because I didn't want to destroy any more. But That's the other side of the third basket. And then the last one, we have 4 altogether. This is number 4. I'm thinking about getting some bigger brackets so they stand out a bit further away from the wall, because they tend to flatten some of the plants. I've mentioned before about putting moss in. I put moss in all the baskets this year, and it is definitely paid off without a doubt. It's you don't have to do as much watering. So just down here we've got our granddaughter Megan's sunflower that she brought from school as a seed, so that's coming on. And this is the second arum lily. They've done very well this year. And then there's these little carnations in the pots. I deadheaded these the other day, and there's a lot of new buds coming on. And then we've got, I think these are begonias. I can never remember. There's a couple of trays of those. So there we go. A bit more trimming round with the shrubbery round here, round near the wall. But again, as I say, I am holding off doing any of this and for another month. So make sure the birds have got the youngs away, because I did this one last year. And there had been 2 nests in. I didn't disturb anything, they'd gone, but you've got to be so careful. So, and then I've got my strawberries in this tub, which I don't know, they seem to have gone a bit weedy to me, but there we are. That's how things are looking in the garden at the moment. Bye for now.